Hi guys. First of all, this is my first video to start off on my DDLG page. First of all, DDLG is for Daddy Dom Little Girl. It doesn't have to be Daddy Dom Little Girl. It could be Daddy Dom Little Girl, Daddy Dom Little Boy, um Mommy Dom Little Girl, Mommy Dom Little Boy. Um, Pretty much one part of the relationship is the caregiver, the one who pretty much is the provider, the protector, the the dominant, in other words. The other part is the little, which is it is a adult or minor. Some minors um are in the DDLG community as well. I am not saying that I condone minors, but if they do join the DDLG community, I do hope that they are being, responsible and taking precautions. I am not saying that I'm not saying that I approve or disagree because it is everybody's right to do what they feel is right, like with how they feel. Pretty much it is. There are many misconceptions involving this branch. It is actually DDLG is a branch of BDSM, and there are many misconceptions of it. It is not a relationship between an actual father, daughter, mother, father, daughter. It is nothing like that. It is not incest or pedophilia. The caregiver is a parental figure or an influence on the little. Well, the caregiver may be the dominant one. Relationships like this require love, support, care, and guidance. The dynamic, it's different for everybody. Some are sexual while others aren't. Some involve age play while others don't. It also some involve, playing with things such as stuffed animals, otherwise known as stuffies, bedtime stories, coloring, other childlike activities. Pretty much being a little myself, I regress to a age of 5, which some days I feel like I am 5 when I am a little. Some days I feel like I am around the age of 2. I have been a little for almost 3 years. I feel most days I am around the age of 2. But I also have days where I am around the age of 5. So I mean, I go back and forth. My big age is 20. So there is also along with BDSM aspect, there are such things as limits, punishments, spankings, and there are other things, but it determines on whether it is all based on what what the caregiver and the caregiver and the little discuss, because it is mainly about discussion. You do have to discuss before, so that there is no going over the boundaries, not making your little feel uncomfortable, because again, you are their protector, you are their guider, another thing is, age play. Age play is a almost like a role play. It is where consenting adults act or treat another as if they were older or younger. Some of them are sexual. They can be sexual or non-sexual. The role play should not be confused with age regression. This is similar to pet play. There's also pet play, which is pretty much where you are, instead of being a little, you are a pet. Some common age play in a vanilla relationship would be when someone, dresses up like a cheerleader or a high school student, whereas other times there is, the headmistress or the headmaster, or, or a teacher, someone who is in charge, someone who has you know, a type of control over you. There is, adult babies. There's also, it's less common age play is, the, infant, which is called infantilism, or something, yeah. More commonly referred to as adult babies, which is, also associated with DDLG, BDSM, stuff like that. There are littles whose ages range from 3 to 10, and there's also middles who can range from preteen to teenagers, and a little in a middle's age doesn't have to be permanently set, which is why I am still going back and forth. I'm still trying to figure out what I am comfortable, what age of a little I am. The age doesn't have to be permanently set, which is, it depends on, like, the little's participation. Not all relationships participate in age play. The caregiver, pretty much, the daddy dom or mommy dom, is the dominant half of the DDLG relationship. The dominant half is the maternal figure or the father figure. The caregiver is, the person who, the caregiver is the mentor, the teacher, the protector, the head of discipline, the provider of love and support. A caregiver is also it also shows the little new perspectives on situations, problems, in the world in general. They share, through shared joy, the caregiver is able to bring them out of their shell and instill a self-confidence that they never knew they had, just like a flower. With the right care and nourishment, the flower blooms. Just like if you give a little the right care and nourishment, the little will bloom. The role as a caregiver, like I said, is the protector, the penalizer, the provider, the partner. Along with that, there is also, little space. Little space is a mindset in which an adult relaxes into a state of carefree responsibility and free safety. It also may be a developed time in which an adult relieves childhood memories, scenarios, or desires that were unachievable as an adolescent. That does not mean that someone who is who goes in a little space has mommy issues or daddy issues. The DDLG has nothing to do with daddy issues or mommy issues, or a bad childhood. I had a good childhood. I don't have daddy issues. My father is still around, my mother is still around, and I have good relationships with both of them. It has nothing to do with any of that. It relaxes them. It is a plated little space, and being a little is, pretty much, it is a mindset in which we don't have to be adults. We don't have to worry about, adult things. We enjoy it. It is a carefree, responsibility-free environment. An adolescent or an adult in little space may involve another adult, referring to as a caregiver. They engage in activities viewed as childish, and some even may participate in adult sexual interactions during their time in little space. Again, being a little, it can be sexual or non-sexual. It does not mean, oh, well, you have someone that you call daddy, I understand that because of BDSM, calling someone, daddy, it has been misconstrued as, a sexual term. It does not have to be a sexual term, calling someone daddy. It can be, it doesn't have to be. Just like a DDLG relationship does not have to be sexual, it can be non-sexual. Well, in little space, the adult is usually, but not always, referred to as an adult baby, little, or middle. They do not have to be. There is also collaring. I know that I have one. I am not currently wearing it, because I just got out of the shower. I have one, and to me, it means, that without a spoken word, it shows that I am owned, that I belong to my daddy. It means that it is a reminder that I am his and his alone. Collaring is the moment that shows that a sub has completed their training, or, completed their training and their relationship with their dom has been taken to a new level. It can also be, a sign of ownership without actually any spoken words. It can also be a reminder, as I said, that, that you are your caregivers and your caregivers alone. If you can think of consideration and training collars as engagement rings, the ownership collar is similar to a wedding ring. Sometimes ceremonies are held by the caregiver to celebrate the moment. Like, I know that, when my daddy gave me mine, he we went out to dinner, we went out to a movie, and then we went to the beach, and he got down on one knee and gave it to me. There are certain situations where there are people who actually will do that. I don't think that there's anything else that I have not gone over. Along with a good DDLG relationship, if you do talk to your little, or you do talk to your caregiver, it doesn't have to be, but there are some relationships where there are rules. There are rules for, what you should do, how you should act, stuff like that. There are rewards and there are punishments. You don't have to. It can be an unspoken thing, as long as the caregiver and the little talk about it and come up with a compromise for it. It does not have to be written. It's easier when it is written. Like, I have a notebook with all of mine in it. I have a notebook for my punishments, my rewards, my rules. They're all in separate notebooks, and it is easier for me to remember them. I can go back and look at them. My daddy also has one too, so that, and he has memorized them, so he can remember, you broke this rule. So it makes it a lot easier, but every relationship is a lot different. So it's not a mandatory thing. But I think I have covered everything. I'm about 100% sure I covered everything. But I will be posting a lot more. So check back, subscribe if you see this. Like my video, and check back in a few days for a new video. Wow.